Sorry, and here we are. I like maps too. They tell the story. There is our tornado watch. It's east of Dallas, Tarrant, Canton, and then everybody to the south. You're under that tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Now, to the north of the tornado watch, that includes the Metroplex. We have a severe thunderstorm watch, and that's also northeast, and that's also far east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That goes until 10 o'clock tonight. I just mentioned the concerns here for the Metroplex, the same concerns for all these areas that are shaded in this pink color, and then I went through the concerns for the areas shaded in the yellow, the tornado watch. So that's the story. Now, why do we have two different watches? Well, we have a frontal boundary, and along that frontal boundary and to the south is where we have our highest tornado risk tonight. So you can see that it's kind of bisecting the southeast corner of Dallas County right now. That's why we have the tornado watch, just Terrell, Canton, and then locations to the south. And just to the north of that front, that's where we have the severe thunderstorm watch. So why do we have the two different watches? Well, it's all about how much moisture is in the air. See these areas in green? These are dew point temperatures. That's a true measure of moisture in the air, not relative humidity. Relative humidity is relative to the air temperature, so it has big fluctuations throughout the day. Dew point temperature doesn't. So when you see these dew point temperatures in the 60s, man, the atmosphere is loaded for some large hail and also for the threat of tornadoes. It's less loaded for large hail and tornadoes when you have dew point temperatures 46 in Denton, 51 in McKinney. It's just not that moist on the north side of the front as it is on the south side of the front. So that's the difference in what we're looking at this moment. So there's really nothing going on. We have a little shower down here around Benbrook. That's really it. But you can see this activity around Corsicana, Waxahachie, Canton. It's just plain old rain with some thunderstorms right now. But this is the area we're going to be watching for more development. A little supercell thunderstorm down around Hamilton. So down around San Saba, we have a thunderstorm warning that's in effect right now. That's for Mills County, north of San Saba, moving toward Goldthwaite. So it'll arrive in Pottsville at 5:44, in Hamilton at 6:15, Olin at 6:32, and Bosque County, Meridian at 7:33. So other than that, non-severe storms to the south and southeast of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I want you to watch this. See how things become, this is an hour and a half from now, a bit more numerous off to the south and southwest. See how they start to grow as we move toward 8 o'clock. You see 9 o'clock, you see what I'm talking about? Remember that thunderstorm watch, tornado watch in effect until 10. And then by 10 o'clock, I mean, we have mature thunderstorms out there by 8:30, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. That's why we have, and you know where the two watches are in effect right now. Things kind of start to fizzle out around 11 o'clock or so. Now just a lot of heavy rain and some small hail. But then overnight tonight, watch this, to the southwest. See how this second batch, round one is this evening, round two is overnight. The overnight activity will be less severe by far than the evening activity. That doesn't mean we won't have severe weather overnight, but the severe weather threat overnight, it's quarter size hail, not tennis ball size hail. Follow me? And then 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So 4 o'clock in the morning, widespread showers and thunderstorms across the area, 40, 50 mile an hour winds and some quarter size hail. That's all in the forecast overnight. 6 o'clock in the morning, we're still seeing rain at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then finally by noon tomorrow, we're dry and the sun is out. That's the way it shapes up for us as we head through the time frame. The severe threat tomorrow, I mean, the deep south's looking at problems tomorrow. Remember, my concern tonight south of the Metroplex is a 3. Tomorrow, deep south, it's a 4. I mean, that's a big problem into the day tomorrow. How much rain will we pick up? I have on and off rain in my forecast as we head through the weekend. The bulk of it's tonight and tomorrow morning. A half an inch to an inch, we could certainly use that. High today was 74. The morning low was 51. Outside right now, it's 77. So our high today has jumped up to 77 degrees. Southeast wind at 14. Pollen today, are you crying like me? Mulberry, maple, oak, mountain cedar, and fungus. It's almost exactly what it was yesterday. Just a little bit, a few particles higher today than yesterday, but still really high. 51, rain and storms tonight. Some severe weather. Almost everyone will see rain tonight, which is a good thing because we have moderate to severe drought across the area. During the day tomorrow, it's rain in the morning. The afternoon, sunny. We'll have a high tomorrow of 68. The next 10 days, Friday's dry. Passover begins at sundown Saturday. And I do have a little rain in my forecast Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Not a lot, but a little bit those days. And there will be, it's March, so you never say there's no severe weather when you have a thunderstorm. We'll watch that. But the severe thunderstorm threat is certainly in the forecast tonight and overnight.